everybody. Come on in. Have a seat. Let's find some music. We'll wait just a couple minutes to get everybody sat down and give them a chance to get tuned up. For some reason, I am having... Oh, by the way, on the chat box, if you could let me know if the sound is good. We've been having pretty good luck with the sound lately. I just want to make sure that you guys can hear good enough. And so if one of you will just say, hey, yeah, sounding normal, that's what we're looking for. That's what the trouble is. Oh, hey, Amy. Good. Thank you. Amy, delighted you're sticking it out all this week. That's a challenging amount of music you've been tackling. Good for you. Hi, Mary. My snark has given up the ghost, so I gotta get a new battery in him. He's not cooperating. I hardly ever have to change a battery in the snark. So glad you guys are here. Running a little bit late, obviously. I got stuck in the other meeting, and so we're gonna jump into things quickly here. Let me get rid of all of yesterday's music, and there's a pile of things to organize. Today, I believe we are working on, what did I decide we're going to do? Farmer in the Dell, oh joy. And then we're going to do London Bridges, and then Ginny with the light brown hair. So Farmer in the Dell, let's take a look at that one. Okay. First of all, if you're new here, welcome. I'm delighted to have you. Some of you guys have been around all week, so you've heard this same exact speech over and over, but that's maybe I don't know. It'll make it helpful when you have to teach somebody how to play guitar. I'm going to sit back just a tiny bit so we can get a good idea of what proper position looks like. Okay, I'm in proper guitar position for the most part. What I like to see is your guitar 50, 60 degree angle coming up this way. I don't like to see it down here. Can you play guitar down here? Yes. Is it worth playing guitar down here? Probably not. It's just going to make your life harder. When you're at home practicing, you want this guitar set up, pretty high. The main reason is, honestly, guys, there's going to come a day when you need to play guitar standing up with a strap. And when you do that, the guitar is going to fall into this position. And so that is classical position. Even if you're playing heavy metal, that's the position your guitar is going to be sitting in. So at home, it just makes perfect sense to me to have you play it in the same position, even if you're going to end up being a cowboy, right, and playing good cowboy music. I'm going to move my bench back just a little bit. I'm too close. Okay, so that's what I like to see. So when you're sitting down getting ready to play, it goes right between your legs. Feels super awkward in the beginning. I have down here one of these little stools. You can get those at any music store, 15, 20 bucks. All the music stores went out of business, so you may have to rely on the Amazon. But that's what I have down here. Holds this leg up. This leg I usually try to keep nice and flat on the floor. Sometimes I end up tucking it underneath here because, as you play for a while, one feels a little more comfortable than the other. More importantly, keeping your shoulders nice and soft. We don't want to be playing like this. Keeping your spine nice and straight. We have this tendency to be playing guitar at the kitchen table, and then we're leaning over reading the sheet music here, and all of a sudden our back starts hurting, and we have less fun playing guitar. So probably you want to get yourself a music stand so that the music can be set up. Even if it's at your kitchen table, use one of those old things. Remember, when we would type, we would have a thing there to hold the paper that you were typing from, or a recipe holder or that type of stuff. Get one of those so that you are trying to play in a relatively comfortable, positive, straight spine position. The one thing that kills you in guitar is holding the darn thing. That's the hardest thing for new people, and it's the hardest thing for people who've been at it a long time. So just know you're not the only one fighting holding this. Even in this lesson today, I'll be fighting the darn thing the whole time. So just be doing what you can to make your posture as correct as possible, and that way you can just play longer, and it's just more fun. And what the skills that we teach in this particular program are melody and instrumental in nature, and you're going to be able to play for your whole rest of your life at a really high level, much higher level than most guitar players get, because most guitar players quit. That's the first thing. The second thing, those that stick with it have a tendency to be singers and first, and guitar players second, and so they quit doing that as soon as they figure out that whatever song that they happen to like isn't going to get any more fun to play, and they run through their 10 or 12 songs from their favorite artist, and then they're done, and then they don't play anymore. But instrumentalists play their whole lives, because there's just every single day there's a new challenge on what we're teaching, and it keeps your mind active, and it gives you a way to sit down at the end of the day and just disappear into plucking out a melody, and it doesn't, you get where you don't even care what the melody is. It's just something that you do. Today, the dumbest song ever written, Farmer in the Dell. The only reason it's here is because it's only got one chord, and there's, as far as I can tell, there's only 4 or 5 one-chord songs on the planet that are worth studying at all. Farmer in the Dell just barely makes the cut, right? It's not a great song, but it does teach us some really, really valuable, important skills. Everything that you'll need to know is sitting on this page in one manner or another to become a very fine guitarist. And so I don't necessarily get all tragedy stricken that I'm teaching you a dumb song. What I'm teaching you are really valuable, super important, lifelong skills. And so let's dig into those. Farmer in the Dell is in A. That's why there's all those A chords. Make sure that you have your fingering correct. Index finger, 4th string, 2nd fret, then middle finger on the 3rd string, and ring finger on the 2nd string. Remember, your strings are numbered 1 on the bottom and 6 on the top. Okay. Also notice my thumb. My thumb is not visible to you because it's hanging out down here on the back of the neck. The pad of my thumb is up against the back of that neck. And what we want is that thumb to be right behind my middle finger. Wherever my middle finger is, that's where my thumb's going to be. Okay. So if I'm down here playing a really tough chord, right, my thumb is right behind that middle finger. It just hangs out back there. And with any luck, he won't even see him peeking up over the top. Now, of course, it's me, and so there's a good chance he's going to peek up, but that's what we would okay. On A chord, ideally, you're only strumming from 5 down. 5. Okay. If you hit the 6th string, it's not the end of the world. Okay. That's what we're doing. This song has in 6/8 timing. You'll see that at the very top of your sheet music, 6/8. We don't care what the 8 stands for. We do care a lot that it's 6, which means there's going to be 6 beats in every measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Okay, and that's just with thumb down. Now, the truth is, when you watch me strum this, I'm going to strum it in 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We don't have to do it. We could do it in 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But with this particular song, that's not going to work well. It works fine on Green Sleeves, which is in 6/8, but it does not work fine in this song. So either in 2 or 6 is what you want to strum. Strumming patterns, if you own a pick, go ahead and throw it away, because in fingerstyle ukulele, or fingerstyle guitar, we don't need it. It's just going to get in the way. The picks are to make you louder, and there's a particular type of playing we call flat picking, where we use picks a lot. But for fingerstyle guitar, we can't use it because we need all of these fingers to be picks. And that's true also in classical music. We don't use a pick because we have to use all of these fingers, and we have to use them independently. So having a pick, going to the guitar shop and you go to the front counter and they're checking you out for whatever dumb thing you thought you needed to buy. There's that bowl of picks there, and some of them have cool things on them. That's what the best part about guitar is, getting a pick, right? Having it in your pocket and walking around, you feel like all day long you're a guitar player, but you don't need them in this style of play. Go ahead and keep your picks. Don't throw them away. Just don't use them. Okay? All right. If you are a next level player, if you're already playing a pretty solid strum, you have other choices. Okay, index finger. Make sure the face of your fingernail is pointed toward the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All I'm doing is bending it over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. The other one where you're real next level is when you take these 4 fingers and you grab any 4 strings really. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then for those of you who are even higher beyond that, it's thumb, index, middle, ring, index, middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is a skill. Once you get it, it's very easy to talk to, and you can't believe anybody can't do it. But when you're first learning it, that is a really hard thing to do because we have this tendency to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're missing strings and stuff. So try to keep your hand very steady. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what we're working on, okay? Now, let's go ahead and do this song. I want you to do, we're going to do it twice through. We're going to go play all the way down through measure 8, and that double line with the 2 dots is telling us to go back. It tells us to go back to number 1, which is where the forward repeat is. And then we're going to play all the way down. We're going to pretend like that's the last time. You're supposed to play this song 10 times. And if you do, I want you to send me an email and say, I played Frere Jacques 10 times through, and you get extra credit for that. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to play it twice. We're going to play all the way down to the bottom once, and then the second time when we come back through, we're going to skip measure 8 and play measure 9 because that's the second ending. That's the where we want to end up. Okay, here we go from the top. Pick one strum pattern the first time, and then choose something else the second time. Okay, 1, 2. The farmer in the dell, the farmer in the dell. I-ho, the dairy-o, the farmer in the dell. The farmer takes a wife, the farmer takes a wife. I-ho, the dairy-o, the farmer takes a wife. That's it. Okay, it goes on for 8 more verses. But the big takeaway from this is make sure you know your A chord, you have that memorized, and then make sure you're thinking mindfully about what you're going to be doing with your right hand. We don't want to be just strumming mindlessly. You see a lot of players who have picks, up, down, just going to town, and we want to be more mindful of that because we got a lot of important skills to learn over here. All right, now let's play the melody. Had 3 previous lessons on how to play melody, or is this 2 previous ones? Most of you guys here have had enough lessons where you're reading the tablature. Okay, know that the tablature is upside down, and our goal is to get it as close as we can. If as we play now, and if you play through and you're like, yep, I killed it, I'm absolutely fine, then you go back and you speed it up until you're playing fast enough where it's starting to fall apart. And then when it starts to fall apart, that's not falling apart. That's telling you exactly where those parts are that you need to work on. So we'll play it nice and slow. If you're fighting it the whole way through this weekend when you're working on it, slow it down. Okay. If you're playing it absolutely fine, but you crash in 1 or 2 places, then you just work on those 1 or 2 places. Okay. Everything's a 2. So we're only going to use this finger. Only going to use middle finger up and down on the 2nd fret. Everything's a 2. 1, 2. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Oh, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Oh, oh, 2, oh, 2, 2. Oh, 2, 2, oh, oh, 2. Again. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Oh, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Oh, oh, 2, oh, 2, 2. Oh, 2, 2, oh, oh, Okay, so I got to the end there and I fell asleep, right? I'm like, I got this thing handled. This is pretty common. I don't know if you've ever been playing a song and you played it real well and clap until the last two measures, right? Because what your brain is thinking is, all right, I got this. I'm all done. I can, we really killed that song. And then you wipe out. And that's exactly what I just did there. Very poor musicianship, right? It's not over till it's over. Stick with it until the very, very last minute. All right, that's Farmer in the Dell. Not a great song, but again, what we're working on there is making sure you're in second position and getting comfortable with what string you're on. Very important. When I started teaching, I was normally I was hitting the wrong string all the time, right? And so I got better at it, and it's through practicing some relatively basic songs to just get where you're comfortable finding your string. Very normal to be holding down everything correctly here and then hitting the wrong string, which I think is what I just did at that ending there. Okay, all right. Very quickly, level 1. You are not expected to understand or know what tough axe is. You're just expected to know that it is one of the lines on your sheet music. I'm going to run through it and play it for you just so you have a sense of what it is. And then at this level, I would not expect any of my students to be playing it, right? At this level, I want you to get comfortable with 4 chords in this level: A chord, D chord, G chord, and E chord. And I want you to be able to play a melody line straight through. If you can do those 2 things, then by the time you get to level 2, when we start digging into tough axe, you're going to be fine, right? And so, again, getting those solid principles in early will allow at level 2. Once you're at level 2, everything that you need to know about playing guitar is in level 2. And so when you get to that level, and get through level 2, you're going to be a fine instrumental guitarist for the rest of your life, and you will be able to wander the internet and download crummy tablature that guys have put out there. I mean, most of it's really pretty unplayable, but you'll be absolutely fine playing the rest of your life. Okay. This is how the tough axe would sound. Notice what I'm going to be doing is holding an A chord and just making minor modifications to that depending on what the melody needs me to do. Okay. A little fancy on the end. So that's what we're doing with tough axe, is holding the chord and then modifying the chord in whatever way is necessary to make the melody come out. Okay, we'll be digging into that at a higher level at level 2. Okay, if you are at this level and you're like, yep, that makes sense, just that's what you're going to do this weekend, is just play through these 4 songs, 5 songs that are in level 1. You can go to denverguitarorchestra.com, go to the sheet music page, go to level 1, download all those songs. The other thing, I can't emphasize it enough, there's an MP3 on the website for every single song, and go download those, put them in your phone, listen to the song 400 times so that you really know what you're playing, and that's going to make it way, way easier. It also cleans up a whole mess of your timing. So, yeah, so let's do that this weekend. Okay, important, those of you guys who've been showing up regularly, we're not meeting tomorrow. Okay, so we'll talk about that at the end of the class of what your plan is going forward. I'm going to make a few changes to the general structure of the program, just so that we can make sure it's being beneficial to you and to me. All right, let's go to the next song, level 2. We're going to start in with London Bridges. Okay, London Bridges. The main reason this song is in here is to teach you 2 keys. Okay, so you got one set of 2 chords, and then you switch to another set of 2 chords. And so to start off with, we're going to have the first half of the song is A chord, which we just did in the last song. We're going to take that over to E. To get to E, you drop your index finger 1 string and drive it back a fret, and then these 2 guys jump up. To get back, index finger over, these guys down. Okay? And be very micromanagey about your chord changes. It'll make you much faster. A to E to A. When you're first starting guitar playing, you got to teach this hand to do that exact motion without thinking about it every single time. Okay, that's one of the things that we work on at this level. Level 2 is all about switching chords, and then also where we start thinking about playing some tough acts. Okay, let's sing it again. Oh, by the way, I apologize for my singing. Have I mentioned that I don't know how to sing? You probably figured that out. Oh, and before we go on, let's go ahead and look at these chords on page 2. You've got the C chord, a little bit harder, index, middle on the 4th string, and ring finger up here on 5. There's your C chord. And you're going to jump that over to G chord. Now, there's lots of ways to do a G chord, but I am going to do index finger here, middle finger here, ring finger down here. Okay. Some people will put their ring finger there and put your pinky there. In fact, that's the chord shape that I recommend on this song. Okay. This sounds pretty. Back to C, G, C. Didn't get it on. Okay, so the idea is I'm chasing my index finger. I'm getting my index finger in the right place. The other two fingers jump on. Index finger here. These two fingers. I'm not jumping on today for some reason. Those are the other two chords. With this song, we're going to play through the first 8 measures in one set of chords. Then we're going to switch and play it in the other set of chords. What we're doing is transposing the song from one key to another key. Okay, and you're supposed to then, when you get to major 16, go back and do it again. We're just going to do it one time through. Start at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. London Bridge is falling down. E chord. Falling down. Go back. Falling down. London Bridge is falling down. Back. My fair lady, then switch. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down. My fair lady. 4. Last strum on every guitar song, pretty much. You're going to do that. Let the guitar ring. Don't pull up your chord until the last possible. Well, don't pull it up, period, and just let the guitar ring out. If you get tired of the guitar ringing, slide your hand up here and get it to shut down and stop. Okay? Beautiful. Those are your 2 chords. If you're newer, both of those chords, C and G, well, C particularly I find to be rather challenging. A and E, we usually get pretty comfy with those pretty quickly, but C chord is, because it's stretched out pretty far, so it's definitely a chord you want to work on. And it's a chord that's going to come up a lot in your playing. There are some folk music tricks to making getting from G to C easier. I don't necessarily know if I recommend them, but if you are somebody who is going to be doing a lot of singing, you can do a G chord with this middle finger, ring finger, and pinky finger there. And then it drops down really conveniently into that C chord. Okay. I don't really recommend that. I find that this is much more difficult to get on than the other 2 types of G's. And so be mindful that if you have a teacher that shows you that G, it is normal. It is something that people do all the time. All right, I'm dancing all around on my chair here. Let's play the melody. Okay, remember when we switch from page 1 to page 2, we're going to be using a whole different set of fingers and strings to get there. For the most part, 1s are index, 2s are middle, 3s are ring, pinky does 4 and 5. Okay, for the most part, I think. Yep, that's how it's going to go. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. 0, 2, 0, 3, 2, 3, 0, 2, 3, 2, 3, 0, 2, 0, 3, 2, 3, 3, 5, 3, 1, 0, 1, 3, 3, 0, 1, 0. 1, oh, 1, 3, 3, oh, 1. And then you're supposed to go back and repeat it. And I have 3 sets of lyrics on this song. This is a song that's been rewritten a million times, so there's lots of different lyrics out there. The one I did rewrite, verse 3, they usually sing, "Take the key and lock her up." I changed it to take the key and have some tea. I thought it sounded way more British that way, and so I did change that. You can do it however you want. You can change the entire topic of the song. Don't be shy about rewriting songs that have dumb lyrics, right? Someday I'm going to rewrite Farmer in the Dell because it's just that dumb. Okay, then when we are talking tough acts on this one, we want to go through with some level of detail about how to get your chords and your chord adjustments in correctly. So we'll walk through the whole thing, then we'll go back and play it. Okay, so measure 1 under tough acts, I'm going to grab an A chord and just strum the whole thing. Now I'm going to use my pinky to get that 2, and then get rid of the pinky. And then I'm going to use my pinky again to get the 3 on the 2nd string. And then I'm going to play the A again, pinky, and the A again. Measure 3, I'm switching over to an E chord. Make sure I'm resting on the 1st string and not just proceeding on through it. I'm actually physically stopping on that. Grab your pinky to get the 2, and then slide it up to 3. Go back to your A chord, pinky, and then strum. Strum 2, oh, strum 3, strum 3, strum. Back to E chord. Strum with a rest stroke, full strum, go to your A chord. Okay, and then on the end of that measure, I have 2 pretty notes. 2, oh. Notice I'm holding the chord. I don't have to do anything other than pluck them. 2, oh. Now I'm going to change to a C chord. This is the hard part of the song right here. I got to get a C chord on, and then I also have to get my pinky on this 3 in order for that. I hope you guys don't have that in the way. I'm going to hit this C chord, but I got to get a pinky on there for the melody. So once I strum this strum, unfortunately, I have to abandon the entire chord to go get that melody. I just can't reach otherwise. But that's how fingerstyle works. Okay, so we'll do it again. Measure 9. Now put your C chord on again. We'll grab the 1, and then grab the 3 again for that melody note. I'm going to go grab a G chord, but I'm going to put my ring finger on the 2nd string. Open. 1, go back to your C chord, grab the 1, put it back, and grab the 3, C chord, G chord with your ring in the ring on the 3rd string, 2nd string, add your pinky, and go back to your C chord. We would repeat 2 more times. Okay, let's go through and play it. Hey, Jim, back for more, right? All right, glad you're here, Jim. All right, so now let's go through and play the whole thing from top to bottom, if you can. If this is too hard, right, and it is possible it's too hard, play the chords. Just be playing a nice, steady 4-beat pattern with your chords. And if that's too easy, then go in and play the melody and not worry about the chords. Okay, do one of the 2. That way you're doing what you can at your level, and I hopefully have taught you how to get to the next level. Okay, let's give it a try from the very beginning. I'm going to go slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry. And there we go. I hacked my way through that pretty bad. I probably want to go back through and do it another 100 times to get it smoother. And I think what I'm noticing is when I get to that C chord, boy, I'm really fighting that for some reason. And so I would probably spend most of my practice time on page 2 because I was fighting the C chord. That's the nice part about fingerstyle is that you will be able to play some of it pretty well and some of it's going to be a real trouble. And then you just have to go work on the trouble spots. You don't need to work on everything within the song until you get the whole thing either memorized or to a point where it's basically memorized, and then you're good. You can go play it out in regale your family or Red Rocks or wherever with London Bridges, and it's a very popular song at most rock venues. All right, let's move on to the final song of the day, Jeannie with the light brown hair. I don't think I printed a copy of that out, so let me grab that over here. All right. What we're going to be working on here is the top level stuff. Okay. So, in other words, whether or not you're at this level doesn't matter. What matters is that we're getting in the correct tools, the correct understanding, making sure that we know what we're supposed to do, rather than whether we can do it or not isn't important. It matters that you know what you're supposed to do. So I am going to go over into this other window, I think. Let me move this out of the way here real quick. It's being a pain. Okay, and we're going to talk Jeannie with the light brown hair. Oh, it's right here. Okay. All right, here we go. So first thing is double check your chords. You've got a G chord. Now you're in four time, but you've got 2 chords or more for every major. So you're going to be changing chords a lot. G chord, C chord, back to G chord for a while. 3, 4, 1, 2. Then you're going to go to E minor. And a beautiful chord on guitar. Then back to G. Here's where you got to go 1 beat of G, 1 beat of A7, 2 beats of D. Okay, so now you've made it through the introduction to this song. A lot of you guys are too young to remember this song. This song was, well, you're certainly too old to remember it from when it was originally written. Stephen Foster, 1854, right before the Civil War. But this song, because it was public domain, there was a radio musicians type strike, I think in the 40s, and Jimmy got a ton of play during that time because it was a public domain song. So it used to be way famous. It's not famous anymore. Measure 5, you got a G chord, a couple of strings, a couple of times of that, and then you go to C chord. Go to G chord, 3, 4, then 2 more G chords. Go to E minor, G chord, A7, D2, and then we're going to go on to page 2, which is G chord, C chord, G chord, G chord, A7, A minor. Measure 12 is going to be a tough one. B minor, you've got your bar on 2 and an A minor shape in front of it. That's a B minor. Okay. And you only have it for 1 beat, so you've got to get it on quickly and then move on to A7 and then D for 2. Okay. Then we're going to go on to D chord again. G chord. E minor. And G. Okay, then we're going to be, the tough part of the song is on page 3. You've got your E minor, A7. For each of those is 1 beat, and then you're going to go to the D7 for 2, G chord, C chord, G G chord for a couple. Go to your D chord. Go to E minor, G chord, and A7. So measure 19, 4 chords and 4 beats. That's the measure that's going to be the problem. Measure 20, G chord, measure then to D7 and G. Now, the big challenge with all of that chord switching is that we want to make sure that we are being wise about how we get from one chord to the other. So we can spend all day long hacking our way through that song, and it's not necessarily going to be particularly valuable to us. But if you sit down and you think, all right, I got to get from this G chord to this G7, how am I going to most efficiently do that? You're probably thinking about, if I'm at D and I got to get to D7, I'm going to lead with my index finger and then add these other two guys on. That's the big challenge with basically any type of music is, hey, I want you to be thinking through micromanaging these little changes so that when you get to time, when you get those things put together, then you can be up to speed pretty quickly. Okay, let's go ahead and play through it. I'm going to start at actually measure 5 because I need because there's no singing in the intro, and you won't know what the heck's going on. Okay, I won't know. So let's go to measure 5. Get your G chord on. Again, I apologize for my singing. It's brutal. First note's a I dream, 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 dream. There it is. And here we go. I dream of Jeannie with a light brown hair, born like a vapor on the summer air. Let me change the page. I see her dripping where the bright streams play, happy as the daisies that dance on her way. Move it down, sorry. Here we go. Many were the wild notes the merry voice would pour. Many were the blithe birds, change the page, that roared on them. I dream of Jeannie with the light brown hair, floating like a vapor on the soft summer air. Okay, so if you are willing to at least hum along or try to do a little bit of singing, that's a pretty good song to get you comfortable moving from all of those chords. Every single one of those chords is coming up in your life. There isn't one on there you don't need to know, and there isn't one that you don't need to be able to get to quickly. And so take some time to really study that chord structure. It's pretty challenging and worth the effort. Okay, I'm going to race through. I'm not going to play the rest of the song all the way through, but let me tell you how to attack different parts of this. Okay, if you are playing straight melody, and you should, your goal would be to get good enough at playing straight melody where you can invite a friend over and they play the chords and you play the melody. Now you've got a great duet going on. They serve as a metronome, you serve as a metronome to them. The whole thing works out just lovely. And you're a guitar player, so maybe you got friends, maybe you don't, but the idea is other guitar players are going to want to hang out with you. And so what I would suggest doing is get pretty good at playing melody, and because most guitar players only know their chords, right? And most of them are pretty good at it. So what you want to do is get pretty good at playing melody. Then you can come over and play duets. Everybody has a good time. Let's just play the first page, right? Let's just make sure the basic idea here is intact. Zeros, you're going to obviously pluck open. Threes, twos, ones, rings, middles, and index. And for my money, this song, because it moves around fairly effectively from note to note to note, you're not going to need to come up with any sort of fancy fingering there. Just do what it says. Okay, from the very top, 1, 2, 3. Oh, 3, oh, 1, oh, 2, oh, 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 2, oh, oh, 2, oh, 3, oh, 3, and so on. Okay, so because we're in a little bit of a time crunch because I goofed up my timing. If you look through the rest of the song, it's just more of the same. A lot of that. There's one place where a 4 shows up. If you go to measure, where is it at? Where did it go to? Measure, what did I see? Measure 14, there's a 4 that shows up, and that's going to be your pinky finger, 4th string, 4th fret. Make sure you use your pinky on that. 4 on 4 with a pinky is going to turn out to be one of those nemesises that we got to get you to be successful with. That moment right there. That note's going to come up a lot, and so you want to be getting comfy with it. Okay, now that's the melody playing, and I think most of the time most guitar players could do themselves a huge favor by just sitting down and playing straight melody, just playing it, getting your fingers so comfortable with playing melody that you don't really even think about it anymore. It's just something, if you could treat it rather than playing scales, just play this song, play the melody, and then go play the next song, play the melody. You'll get smarter at playing scales than anything. I'm being asked a question. What's the question? It'll be 6:30. Okay. All right. Last piece of the information is going to be the tough X line. Okay. Let's talk through that. Just look at the beginning part, just the first few frets there, or first few measures. Sorry. Let's hit the 0. Then you've got 003. Nice little partial strum here. You're going to lift that 3 up to get the 0. Go for your C chord here, but you don't really need to put the whole one on, just those 3 strings. I put the whole chord on because I think I want my hand to just be so ingrained and so used to making that chord that it just goes on without me thinking about it. Okay, 2, 0, 1. Hit the open note. Hit the 2. Now your 3rd string is open right now, so you're going to have to move your middle finger down to get that. And then open it back up. And then 0, 0, 0. Hit the 0. Hit the 2. And then hit 2 zeros. Okay. Hit it again. E minor here. Probably grab the E minor and put your pinky on the 3 of the 1st string. Open that 1st string up. And then go 0, 0, 3. Hit the open note. Hit the 2. Open. And then 0, 2. You got a 0 on the very 1st string. Okay, and then we start the main song. So at measure 5, make sure that but think about when you play that little introductory section, measures 1 through 4. There's no words there. It's just meant to create the moment, create an introduction to the rest of the song. So you might let the next to last note in measure 4 ring a little bit longer to create a little bit of drama, and then go into I dream of Jeannie with a light brown hair, born like a vapor on the summer air. Let's keep going. Go to the top of page 2. Let's go ahead and play through some of this. Just see if anything weird shows up that's going to make us sad. Okay, from measure 9, go. See her dripping with the bright streams play, happy as the daisies that 3, 4, 4 is an A minor on the way up on the 3rd fret. Down, slide it back on her, change to a D chord. Let's go to measure 13. Let's play through that and see if there's anything evil. Many were the wild notes her merry. There's that 4. Voice would pour. Many were the blind. Whoops, I got the wrong note. Blackbirds that. Go to 16. Grab your E minor. And then we're going to go back to the main idea. Dream of genie with the bright string. And then last line, apologize, I'm having to stop every line. And then if you play into measure 21, you have to go back. If you're sick of the song, you're like, all right, I've done it enough times around. Skip measure 21, play 22 and 23 to finish up. Again, tough uke is what grown-ups want to play, right? You want to put chords, you want to put melody together, you want to make it all come together really beautiful and make it happen in some sort of meaningful way to you. This may not be your song, but this song sure has a whole lot to like about it. Very famous song from way in the olden times. Got a really lovely sentiment about how beautiful she is. And I would say, hey, Leon, I would say it's worth your time. You know, it's a complicated song. It's got a lot of pieces and parts to put together, and so for level 3 pieces, great. All right, let's talk a little administrative stuff for the next for next week, I guess. Okay. What I sense happening is you're logging in for the lessons, and there's either too easy or too hard, or just right. And what I want to do is make it where we're going to make the lessons shorter, but we're going to make them more specific to the levels. So we're not going to meet tomorrow. We'll take tomorrow off. Go just play guitar tomorrow. Seriously, don't go outside. It's getting evil out there, and it's been evil for a while. We should have known better. So just stay home, okay, and play guitar. Right? Tell your family you're going to go become a rock star, and they'll get it. They want to be a rock star too. And just stay in the house, play your guitar, lay out. If you are a level 1 player, go print out those 4 songs and just play and play and play and play. Try to make sure the chord is making sense. Make sure the melody is making sense. If you're a level 2 player, play the melody, play those chords. Make sure you're getting really comfortable with getting from one chord to the other chord and back. That's what we do in level 2. If you're level 2, find 2 or 3 songs in there that you actually know, that you kind of like, that are making sense to you, and start working on that tough act section. And of course, if you're level 3, guys, level 3, that's the full package. Okay, I got arpeggios in there, I got tough acts in there, I got melody, I got chords. I did not care what the chords were in those songs as long as they were playable. And so throughout level 3, all of that stuff is the toolbox. That's the complete toolbox that you're going to need to play for the rest of your life. You won't need me anymore. It leads into level 4, which we have really beautiful songs in level 4, but they're harder than level 3, but they're more popular too, so you have a little bit more interest in them. But these old public domain level 3 songs, I think, you want to get comfy with all the tools in that level, and you're going to be a fine guitar player for the rest of your life. So wherever you are, let's get you to the next level. So starting Sunday, we're going to do level 1, Tuesday, Monday, level 2, Tuesday, is that the next day, level 3, and then we'll start over. So if you're not on the guitar mailing list, go ahead and go to denverguitarorchestra.com, get on the mailing list, and then every day I'll be sending you out what day is your day, right? So you can, if you're like, oh, it's level 1 day and I can't stand listening to Frere Jacques again, I'm going to wait for tomorrow and that'll be level 2. Or simultaneously, if you're a rock star and you're like, you know what, I never ever learned any of this stuff, I got to go back and really focus in on the basics and really nail down my figure, be official about reading sheet music or whatever, you would log into level 1, whatever. You're welcome to come all 3 days and do with the best you can. It makes me happy when you're here and makes me feel like, I'm hopefully giving you something of value. And so we'll just do 1 song a day, and we'll do level 1 on Sundays and Wednesdays, and then level 2s on Mondays and Thursdays, and level 2 on Tuesdays and Saturdays. I don't think I did that right. Get signed up for the email and it spells it out. If you are at a level where either I'm just getting started and none of this is making sense, send me an email. Let's see if we can't do a Zoom lesson. If you're at a level where you're like, I got all these skills, I want to go level 4 skills or level 99 skills, send me an email. We'll set up a Zoom lesson and see if we can't get something going. We can talk about that over email. And again, denverguitarorchestra.com. All that stuff's on there. Hopefully that's helpful. That's what I got for today. My wife is making something that smells very garlicky in there, so I got to get rid of you guys and go have dinner. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Again, they're telling us now not to leave our houses without a mask. It's bad out there, guys. Take it serious. Don't be out with your friends. Don't go to your neighbors for wine. Just stay home and be safe. And I will see all of you Sunday at 5:30 Mountain Time. Leon, you will be 2 o'clock in the morning your time. And thanks for all of you guys for being here. Have a wonderful day. And don't forget, you can, if you have questions, you can chat with me here or send me an email. If you want to subscribe, you don't have to go through the Denver Guitar Orchestra website to find out the link. It'll just magically appear on this. And then thumbs up, thumbs down right there. Amy, have a wonderful weekend. Mary, thanks for being here. Jim, good to see you. Leon, have a great day. A couple others of you sneaking around in the background. Glad you were here as well. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see all of you Sunday night at 5:30. Going to end that stream.